In its broadest sense, when we think of discourse, we think of conversation and exchange, like a dialogue or discussion. But for the purpose of this presentation, we are going to get more specific in our meaning. In fact, a distinction can be made between small d, discourse, and capital D, discourse. This first segment deals with the capital D variety of discourse. James Paul Gee, in his book Social Linguistics and Literacies, defines capital D, discourse, as ways of being in the world, or forms of life which integrate words, acts, values, beliefs, attitudes, and social identities, as well as gestures, glances, body positions, and clothes. Each person belongs to,
or participates in,
many different discourse communities
in their everyday lives.
Each of us is a member of many discourses, and each discourse represents one of our ever multiple identities. These discourses need not, and often do not, represent consistent and compatible values. There are conflicts among them, and each of us lives and breathes these conflicts as we act out our various discourses. For some, these conflicts are more dramatic than for others. The conflicts between the home-based discourse of some minority children in the United States and the discourses of the school are deep and apparent. Indeed, the values of many school-based discourses treat some minority children as other, and their social practices as deviant and non-standard. According to Gee, discourses are intimately related to the distribution of social power and hierarchical structure in society, which is why they are always and everywhere ideological. Control over certain discourses can lead to the acquisition of social goods, money, power, status, in a society. These discourses empower those groups who have the least conflicts with their other discourses when they use them. Let us call discourses that lead to social goods in a society dominant discourses. And let us refer to those groups that have the fewest conflicts when using them as dominant groups. In schools, there exists a dominant discourse. It's how to talk school, how to know the rules, and what is and isn't acceptable. Children's author Dr. Seuss can help us to make an entry into this concept of capital D discourse, and how it is difficult for someone who is on the outside of a dominant discourse to get in.
Now the star-belly sneetches had bellies with stars. The plain belly sneetches had none upon theirs. Those stars weren't so big. They were really so small you might think such a thing wouldn't matter at all. But because they had stars, all the star-belly sneetches would brag. We're the best kind of sneetches on the beaches. With their snoots in the air, they would sniff and they'd snort. We'll have nothing to do with the plain belly sort. And whenever they met some, when they were out walking, they'd hike right on past them without even talking.
Those with stars on theirs are those who have mastered the dominant discourse and have passed that knowledge onto their children. They have the mark of knowing, the star. They are in power and make the rules. They do not want to share this power or knowledge with anyone.
Then one day, it seems, while the plain belly sneetches were moping and doping along on the beaches, just sitting there wishing their bellies had stars, a stranger zipped up in the strangest of cars. "My name is Sylvester McMonkey McBean, and I've heard of your troubles. I've heard you're unhappy, but I can fix that. I'm the fix-it-up chappie. I've come here to help you. I have what you need, and my prices are low, and I work at great speed. And he said, you want stars like a star-belly sneetch? My friends, you can have them for $3 each. Just pay me your money and hop right aboard. So they clambered inside. Then the big machine roared. When the plain belly sneetches popped out, they had stars. They actually did. They had stars upon thars.
To gain access to this discourse, the star symbol, those without pay money to join the club, to go through the star-on machine. Perhaps we could even consider this getting the right sort of socialization at school.
Then they yelled at the ones who had stars at the start. We're exactly like you. You can't tell us apart. We're all just the same now, you snotty old smarties. And now we can go to your Frankfurter parties. Good grief, groaned the ones who had stars at the first. We're still the best sneetches, and they are the worst. But now, how in the world will we know? They all frown. If which kind is what, or the other way around. Belly stars are no longer in style, said McBean. What you need is a trip through my star-off machine. This wondrous contraption will take off your stars, so you won't look like sneetches who have them on theirs. Then, of course, those with stars all got frightfully mad. To be wearing a star now was frightfully bad. All the rest of that day, on those wild screaming beaches, the fix-it-up chappie kept fixing up sneetches. Off again, on again, in again, out again. Through the machines they raced around and about again.
As soon as the sneetches without thars gain their stars, those in charge change the discourse to retain their dominance. This decision to go without stars shows how discourse is absolutely socially constructed. What is needed and important is only that way because the dominant discourse accepts it. So the cycle is repeated over and over, and what gets to be part of the discourse or not is continually redefined by situation. Elizabeth Mojay et al. Go into great detail about how students from non-privileged positions can earn access to the dominant discourse of school, and more particularly of each subject matter.